In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why most growth operators get their first client but fail to scale continuously after that. And it typically comes down to three things that we're going to discover in this video. So by the end of this video, my goal is for you to understand where you're currently at and exactly what you need to do to take your business to the next level. So I've seen this time and time again with my students where they get their first client, they start working with them, they start getting results, but then eventually they sit there at a plateau where that'd be $5, $10, $15, even $20,000 a month as a growth operator taking home, but they can't seem to scale past that. And the first issue that I see a lot of people make over and over and over again is that they don't treat this like an actual business. Now see, the old growth operating model of DMing someone, building out a simple funnel, and then boom, you guys are gonna make $10, $20, $30,000 a month together is absolutely dead. If you've been doing outreach or if you've been doing growth operating in 2026, I know for sure you know it's dead. So what do I mean exactly when I say you need to treat growth operating like an actual business, not a freelancer? You have to understand that growth operating has four main components. You have your offer, you have marketing, sales, and fulfillment. So the first thing is your offer. What are you actually providing the service? Now, when I first started as a growth operator, it was simply building out funnels, writing copy, things like that. But now, as my agency has continued to scale, it's no longer just doing that. Now I'm a full stack team that does marketing, sales, and even content. So you have to actually create an actual offer. What is your offer? Because I'll be honest with you guys, if you guys have a shit offer, no one is going to buy it. And your offer can't just be, I'm gonna build out funnels for you, or I'm gonna do some copy or build out a Discord, because anyone can do that. So what is your actual offer? Well, creating an offer is actually easy, and I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. And I'm sure every single one of you guys have heard of Alex Hormozi, and he has this fantastic value equation to creating a perfect offer. I'm gonna pop up a screenshot right here. It's dream outcome times the perceived likelihood of achieving it over time delay and effort and sacrifice. That's exactly how you create value and make your offer good. So a basic offer that's out there for growth operating that every single one of you guys can use is you will sign 15 or 20 high ticket paying clients within the next 30 days or you don't pay. So the dream outcome is signing 15 high ticket paying clients. The perceived likelihood of achieving it is one or two things. It's either number one, what you offer, the deliverables, is it done for you? Is it doing it themselves? And it's also what credentials you have. If you have a lot of credentials in the whole info space, then there's a higher perceived likelihood of achieving it. And then over that is time delay. So for example, with this current offer, it's 30 days or your money back, times effort and sacrifice. And the effort and sacrifice is exactly what they have to do in order to achieve X goal. And that is exactly how you create a perfect offer. The next thing is marketing. Marketing is the way you get leads to look at your offer. Now there's really only two ways to market yourself, is you either go to your clients or your clients come to you via paid ads or you creating content for them, or number one, you just simply do outreach. Very simple. The next thing is sales. You have to have a sales mechanism. Now, when I started growth operating, I didn't have a lot of people coming to me, but now every so often I get one or two people that need my help. And there's some people that I can help and there's some people that I cannot help. Not only that, but I hop on the calls and there's people who I cannot close. So what did I decide to do? I decided to create a sales system for my exact agency. The one thing you guys need to understand is that not every single person is gonna buy on that first call, especially when it's B2B with growth operating info, whatever you wanna call it. So you have to follow up with them and you have to send them material so that over a period of time, they come back to you. Another thing that I also decided to implement on my sales is having a presentation showing people exactly what the deliverables at, because I probably bet that you currently have an upfront fee, you have a hefty percentage, whatever the case may be. So you have to show these people as to what they're exactly paying for. And I made a lot of mistakes at the beginning, not having a presentation, not following up with people, not having, efficient sales system, and I pay the price for it. So make sure to have an efficient sales system. The last thing is fulfillment. Now, I wanna make this very fucking clear to you. Only offer something that you can actually fulfill. Do not ever make a promise that you cannot fulfill, because that's gonna, number one, hurt your reputation. Number two, you're gonna get chargebacks and refunds. Now, fulfillment needs to be replicable. It needs to be as easy as when someone signs on with your growth operating agency, whatever you wanna call it, this happens, and then when this happens, just this happens, and when then this happens, this happens. It has to be very replicable so that results become predictable. That's the first thing. You need to treat growth operating as an actual business. That's the biggest mistake a lot of you guys are making. That's gonna lead us to the second and most important thing that I see over and over and over again. And I could honestly just put this at number one because I made this mistake myself. My students, Caleb, made the same exact mistakes himself. And it's something that you're probably also making. So you've probably signed a client, you start working with him, you're investing all your time into this coaching offer, you're hiring setters, you're hiring closers, you're creating the scripts, you're managing everything, setting them up, all the zaps, making sure this is the perfect offer that's gonna take you to the moon. You work with him for 1, 2, 3, 4 months, And then you start to realize that maybe he's plateauing or you guys can't scale any further. So you start to look around and see where you're gonna make more money. And you start to realize that with the current client, you're probably not gonna make more money. So what do you start doing? You start getting back into outreach, which leads us to number 2. Never stop outreach. This is a mistake so many of you guys make. You stop doing outreach. You have to understand client acquisition when it comes to the agency space is one of the hardest things. Clients for your marketing agency is very, very difficult. There's a lot of competition and there isn't much ways for you to diversify your offer. And this is very simple. You could easily hire an overseas VA to do some outreach for you on Instagram or email, right? But never stop doing outreach. Now, if you decide that you don't want to do outreach, there's another way you could go about it. You can either 1, run paid ads, or 2, create content to get your ICP to come to you. So it's very important, never stop doing outreach, because once you start doing outreach, there's no predictable way of you getting more clients. And the one thing that I've realized when it comes to growth operating is that there's very few clients and very few offers that go past 1 year. Very, very, very few. So you have to understand, if you're working with a client, the likelihood of him getting past a year with your coaching offer is very, very low. Now, last but not least is understanding when to hire people. This is a mistake that I also made a little bit at the beginning, is because I was doing everything by myself and I was thinking I was supposed to do it all myself. And then I started noticing that I could not scale any further. Now, I'm gonna tell you exactly at what point you should start looking to hire more people. But before we get into that, I wanna speak a little bit more about this issue, because I see it time and time again. Our growth operator is gonna do all the marketing, he's gonna do all the sales, and then he's also trying to do outreach for his agency. He's also hopping on meetings, he's doing everything by himself. But the thing is, if you're doing everything by yourself, you're not gonna be able to scale, because if you're inside of the business, you can't look over the business and actually see what is going on wrong. Now you're probably wondering, okay, Edmund, well, how do I know when it's time to hire? Well, there really is no perfect time to know when to hire. You just simply have to know your business. Now I'm gonna give you a couple of signs so that you could kind of figure this out on your own. But the number one sign that you need to hire is, number 1, if you're working more than 6 to 8 hours a day as a growth operator doing manual tasks, you need to outsource that to someone else. Obviously, if you have the capital for that. The second sign you're working way too much is if you're plateauing. If you have a lot of leads coming in, but the issue is not the leads coming in, it's actually converting the leads, that's probably a sign you need to outsource it to someone like a sales manager to manage the sales team. And last but not least, when you want to scale, when you're like, okay, I need to look at higher leverage points as a growth operator to scale my actual agency, which I talked to you guys about at the beginning. It's an actual business. That is when you look to hire and outsource other people. Now, those are the 3 issues I see growth operators make time and time again that stops them from scaling. Now, since you made it to the end of this video, I have an offer for you. If you are someone who is struggling as a growth operator, whether it's to get clients, whether it's to scale your agency, whether it's hiring people, click that first link below. It's gonna take you to a type form where you can apply to work with me one-on-one, and I will help you scale your growth operating agency. If you have any questions, go to my Instagram. Right there's my business Instagram, where there's going to be a lot of reels and informational content for you to digest and maybe take your business to the next level. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching.